Oh yeah, baby. Turn that beat up. Turn that beat the fuck up. Oh, we're here. We are live and we are discussing just some fun topics. And one of the topics that came to my mind as I do this video is the idea of a game being nominated for Game of the Year that might be a remake. Where did this topic come into fruition? Well, I'll tell you. First and foremost, there was some discourse and ire of people saying, well, I don't know how I feel about the necessity of a remake being nominated for anything, let alone Game of the Year. Why? We have the previously established blueprint of the original game. Why are we nominating a remake? It takes away from the creativity and ingenuity of newer games being nominated for Game of the Year. What do I think of this opinion? I think remakes should be nominated for something. It should get something. It should get the love and recognition, especially if that said game fires on all cylinders and it's just completely profound with the original intention of what they tried to do with the game. If the game fundamentally plays better, it plays better. If the story is better than the original on all fronts, then I'm going to accept that remake and it should get some sort of recognition or award for doing something that ascends the original blueprint. I think that's one thing that people don't really think about. If they remade Resident Evil 0 and they made that game fundamentally better than the original, and it's a game I really am not too fond of, I think it has critical gameplay flaws. If that game is something they could fix and make it even more profound than the original, then I'm not going to complain, because guess what? It's the better game and it should get the better merits overall. That's what I think. There is a lot of quality efforts even to this remake, Resident Evil 4 remake. It's just so much stuff they did that builds upon the original. It ratchets things up to 11, and I just love it. I love it as a game. I love it how it plays, how it feels modernized. It's 100% fantastic, right? Granted, not all remakes or games are perfect, and that's just par for the course for any game, right? It has also a flaw to it. You search hard enough, you're gonna find a flaw. Same time though, again, we're recognizing video games. Even if they are redone, even if they are remade, they are video games. They have quality effort put into them. Why shouldn't we recognize them in some capacity as a video game? It makes no sense to disqualify them from the head of the curve. And honestly, I'm going to be completely frank with you. If we enter a dry year, and let's say hypothetically we enter a dry year, it's not a lot of cool, original, unique sequels or new IPs. If only a remake comes out, or only like a remake comes out that really blows people away, if we get into that situation, are people gonna say, oh, we're gonna disqualify this game, it needs to be buried, it's just once again fucking the Game Awards and they're homogenizing like everything, and this game is being voted? Why is this game being voted? But it's the best game of the year. Well, what are people gonna say then? Like, I'm gonna say the remake was the game that had no competition, right? It had no competition. Everything's fine. It needs to be nominated on this list. sometimes things will probably go like that. And hell, I mean, if Capcom keeps delivering on the idea of multiple remakes being done and those games turn out to be even better than RE4, I'm going to commend them for their efforts, because again, like I said, these are video games, and I want them to ascend and keep going in a direction where I get better remakes, I get better games, and those better games will be merited as such. But we'll see. We'll see. Will a remake win Game of the Year one day? Anything's possible. I mean, if RE4 can even get nominated for its efforts, then it's becoming a very close call. I think one day we might see that reality, and I wonder how everyone's gonna be who denied this idea, who denied that a remake couldn't do it. What will the opinion be when it finally happens? I guess we'll see one day. Until then, this is Renegade Operative signing out. I just wanted to talk and sort of talk about this little point of people saying that remakes don't deserve nominations or Game of the Year contenders or anything. Maybe the day might come, and if it comes, what then? If you do like the remake, what then? What are we going to say then? Who knows? But I want to see that future. I want to see all sorts of video games get recognized, whether it's new IPs, whether it's sequels, whether it's remakes. We'll see what happens. I do agree though, it's another subject entirely, but I do agree. I don't think that a remaster should be Game of the Year nominated. Bring back a category for that at least. For that, I think it should be like its own separate category. But a remake that tries to do reimagined material and new things to the mix on a pre-established formula, that should be recognized over a remaster. So I don't think that remasters should be nominated for Game of the Year. I think it should have its own category. That's just me. I'm sure someone would have probably already asked my opinion on the remaster bit, but yeah, I do agree with you there to an extent. It should be a best remaster of the year category, and the remake should thrive. Like I said before, it's especially if you're turning the reimagining into a completely new experience in certain segments and you build onto it. Fuck me, man. Like, if I was making Game of the Year contenders for 2002, Resident Evil 1 Remake would definitely be Game of the Year contender nominee. It would be up there because they changed so much to that game where it's criminally insane. That is the perfect basis for remakes, when you're building so much lore and you're building so much lore from pre-established games into the first one, that it all makes sense, that it all bleeds into each other readily well, and that needs to be commemorated. It needs to be commemorated to a large degree because it makes so much sense and they just do so much with it. So one of these days, I swear it's gonna happen, and there's gonna be a lot of complaining and a lot of just kicking and screaming, and I cannot wait until that day. And I feel like Capcom will be the first one to make a remake that will probably win Game of the Year one of these days. You never know. You never know. I just want them to fire on all cylinders and get it, man. I can't wait. Hopefully when that day comes, I see it, but until then, we don't know. As that cow fucks him up, oh my god! That's so hilarious. Resident Evil 4 Remake, man. Such a great experience, 100%. What do you guys think? Do you think that remakes should win the Game of the Year? Do you think it should be disqualified? Should it? Should it not? Comment below, let me know. I had a lot of fun making this and discussing this, talking to you guys. Again, like I said, if you improve something, if there is significant improvements to the previous game, then that should show some accomplishment here or there, and I think it should win something. It should win something. Even if it's not Game of the Year, it should win and be credited for something, because that is something cool and important, and I think it should be recognized, and those sequels and new IPs, they're gonna be in history being recognized, but these should be recognized too. It also boils down to how much material is being utilized for said remake, because a one-for-one remake, yeah, we already played that particular game in the past, and you're doing like micro refinements, and I have no problem with one-for-one remakes. Those are cool, like enhance the game that I love that I played before. Still, if you're doing a reinvention and a fucking reimagining of said remake, then that's going to ascend the work of the original. If they keep adding on, you're putting in additions, you're making it better and better and better. And that's something that people just don't understand when they exclude it from the category. Remakes definitely deserve to be considered for Game of the Year. I mean, you have your Final Fantasy remakes, which has so much cool action gameplay, and even the RE remakes, they feel like new games. I mean, we think about the Oscars, and remade movies are not excluded from the Best Picture of the Year, and remake games should not be excluded from any Game of the Year show whatsoever. I think it belongs up there, and even on personal lists, if people want to put remakes or remasters on there, that's no problem, because it's your personal list and it's how you feel. And I also feel like remakes should be official shows. Anyway, this is me really signing out for real. Accolades, man. Accolades need to be noticed. And if you're doing more newer stuff and remakes, then sure. It's a pretty much big pile of topics when discussing this, man. And I just feel like, yeah, in my personal opinion, put them there. Doesn't really bother me. See you guys later. Peace out. You know, eat some pizza and some chicken grease and then enjoy yourselves. Oh man, I had fun. And I will catch you guys on the flip side later.